There was a small town named Sanjpur, where life moved slowly like the rhythm of a soft song. In that town lived three people whose lives were connected in a strange way: Preeti, Raghav, and Aman. They were all around the same age, but their hearts saw life through completely different lenses. Preeti, a teacher who believed every day was a gift from God. Raghav, a businessman who thought life was a competition, full of pressure and race. Aman, a poet who saw beauty in pain and meaning in silence. They all walked the same streets, breathed the same air, and watched the same sunset. Yet each one lived in a different world. One morning, all three were sitting at the town cafe. The rain had just stopped. Drops of water still hung from the leaves like tiny diamonds. The streets smelled of wet earth and hope. Preeti smiled and said, "See how peaceful the world looks after rain? It feels like nature just prayed." Raghav frowned, looking at his phone. "Peaceful? It's a mess. Roads are muddy, I'll be late for my meeting, and my shoes are already dirty." Aman smiled faintly, watching a small boy playing in the puddle. He whispered, "Maybe the world is not messy. Maybe it's just alive." The three friends looked at each other. Same rain, same street, but three different stories unfolding in their minds. Weeks later, life tested each of them. Preeti's father fell seriously ill. Raghav's company suffered a big loss, and Aman's poems stopped selling. He felt invisible in the world. Each of them was broken in their own way. For Preeti, faith was her strength. She sat beside her father every night, whispering prayers. Sometimes she cried quietly, but still smiled when he opened his eyes. She believed even pain is a part of God's love. Raghav, on the other hand, locked himself in his office. He blamed his employees, his fate, and even himself. To him, failure meant he was worthless. He couldn't see beyond the darkness. Aman wandered alone by the river. He didn't cry, but his silence spoke louder than words. He wrote in his diary, "Maybe suffering is not punishment. Maybe it's a lesson to see life deeper." One evening, all three met again at the same cafe. No one spoke for a while. The air was filled with quiet pain. Then Preeti softly said, "You know, I used to think happiness means no pain, but now I see. Pain teaches us how precious joy is." Raghav looked up, eyes tired. "I lost everything I worked for, and you're still talking about lessons?" Preeti smiled gently. "Raghav, maybe you didn't lose everything. Maybe you're just being prepared for something new." Aman added in his calm voice, "Sometimes, when life closes one door, it opens a window, but our tears make it hard to see." Raghav looked outside the window. The sun was setting, painting the sky golden. He hadn't noticed beauty in a long time. Something inside him softened. Days turned into months. Slowly, things began to change. Preeti's father recovered. She realized that gratitude was more powerful than fear. Aman's poetry got published again, because now his words carried truth that people could feel. And Raghav, he started his company again. But this time, he worked not just for money, but for purpose. He hired people who had lost everything, giving them new hope. One day, he told Aman, "I used to think life is about winning, but now I know life is about understanding." Aman replied, "And understanding begins when we stop complaining and start feeling." Years later, the three sat once again by the same cafe window. They were older now, calmer, wiser. A little boy came running in, crying because his toy broke. Raghav bent down and said, "Hey, it's okay. Sometimes things break, so we can learn to build better ones. The boy smiled, and Preeti's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, "That's life. We all break at some point, but that's how light enters us." Aman took out his diary and wrote the final lines of his new poem. The world doesn't change, only our sight does. One heart sees pain, another sees purpose. One mind sees loss, another sees learning. Life is the same for all. But what we see depends on the window inside us. They sat silently as the sun went down, and in that moment, they understood. Life is not about what happens around you, but what grows within you. Moral of the story: everyone lives the same life in different ways, through different thoughts. Your mind can make heaven out of pain, or pain out of heaven. The way you see life changes everything. Happiness doesn't come from what you have. It comes from what you believe. Thank you for watching video. Please like and subscribe this channel.